Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt in Japan and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm very happy to be bringing you from the Transformers the movie. This is Studio Series 86 Leader Class Dinobot Sludge. First and foremost, let's take a look at that awesome artwork on the front. I'm always impressed by the artwork on these packages. So let's get up close and personal. There you see Dinobot Sludge blasting away at the Sharkticons on the front, and they're just coming from every which way. Very cool image there when he crashes down the door. And yeah, this is just a great piece of artwork there. So you can see all the Sharkticons flying about there. It's probably about 10 of them. And Dinobot Sludge is just blasting away. Very cool. So you have Taka Tomy at the top. Generations logo. Transformers on the side. 86, he's number 15. Dinobot Sludge, he is a leader class. As mentioned, you see a closer image of Dinobot Sludge there. Studio Series on the bottom, you have your product info. On the top, you have Transformers the movie logo. Looking very cool. And you see the similar image on the side here with your Authentics logo. Now on the back for the product shot, you see Dinobot Sludge in his robot mode, and he converts in 31 steps to his Dino mode. And he does include the Mockery of Justice backdrop, as we've seen before with the other Dinobots. And as always, he's big screen inspired, scale, detail, and backdrop. And at the bottom here, the little blurb says, Dinobot Sludge breaks down the courtroom door and crashes the Quintesson trial. So yeah, awesome. Love the artwork. The box is just great. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into Dinobot Sludge and see what he's all about. Okay, so we're actually going to be starting off in Dino mode here with Dinobot Sludge. So there he is on the Mockery of Justice backdrop. Just a quick look at how he looks on the backdrop. He doesn't really fit that well on the backdrop in Dino mode. He fits a lot better in his robot mode, but just thought I'd show you how it looks there. So just taking away the backdrop there, and let's get into the details of Dinobot Sludge here. Now, this Dino mode is absolutely beautiful. I think this figure just came out swimmingly. It's just so cool. First and foremost, let's take a look at Sludge's head. He has some beautiful gold paint here on the neck and head, and you see some blue paint for the eyes. You have the Autobot logo on the top of his head there, and you see some nice detail on his teeth there. And he is a blast effect compatible. He does have a little thing, a little port inside his mouth. He can put blast effects there. And going down his neck, just tons of molded detail, as we've all seen before with Slug and Grimlock. And some really beautiful silver paint here on the side. As far as paint, you got the gold paint here and here. You get some beautiful silver paint here. You have some sort of darker kind of gunmetal gray paint here and on the legs. But overall, just a really nice paint job. And you get that same kind of dark gray color back here. And you get some nice silver paint for the tail. So just going around the figure real quick. Just molded detail all over the place. Very nice sculpt. And yeah, he's really cool. I'm very happy to have him in hand. And I just love the detail all around here. So you see the little like wires and everything. So looks very, very cool. Just again, like with my Slug review, it's just kind of finding more and more stuff as I look at him. The detail on this guy is just perfect and very, very screen accurate. The only just getting into, before we get into articulation and stuff, this guy does not feel as solid as the Slug and Grimlock figures. I will just bring, let me just adjust my camera here a little bit. I will bring in Slug and Grimlock real quick. I feel like the Grimlock figure and the Slug figure are just like more solid. I've had a little bit of issues with this guy just being kind of loose. Slug, where are you? Slug is like a brick. This guy is like a brick. So he's really, really nice and solid. So that's kind of how, let's just pull back a little bit. So that's kind of how they look in Dino mode here. But yeah, I feel like definitely Grimlock and Slug were a little bit more, I think the joints were a little tighter. I've had a little bit of problems with Sludge when I'm transforming him or posing him, especially in the neck area. And I'll get into that when we get into articulation. But anyways, that's how they look with all three Dinobots so far. And yeah, very happy to have this guy in hand. And so excited to get like the whole set once they release the other two. So anyways, taking away Grimlock and Slug. See you guys. Now, what I was talking about is, let's get into articulation in Dino mode. So for his head, whoop, there goes his gum. That's fine. We'll do that after. So for articulation for his head, his jaw can open and close, much like we've seen with other figures. And it is on a hinge here, so you can go up and down like that. So you get a really nice range of motion for the head. Also, this part where the gold paint stops is on a swivel here. And it's actually very tight, so you can get you can get a full 360 on that part there. So very expressive, lots of head articulation there. Also, his neck is on a ratchet, soft ratchet. So actually, his head is actually really posable. So you can go all the way down like that. You can go all the way up like that. So you can get him in some really cool poses, like he's, almost like he's eating something on the ground. But I was actually surprised to see this joint here. And it kind of has a nice soft ratchet joint. So that's very cool. So, but what I was talking about is when you move the neck, this piece tends to come unhinged. So if you guys pick this figure up, please be very careful. There are 2 tabs right here that they slot into. And actually, last night I had put some nail polish on here, but it doesn't really seem to be working. It does, it slots in, and it actually stays in. But when you're going to pose the neck, it does have a tendency to kind of come out right there. So I kind of wish that these were a little bit bigger and they slotted in just a little bit tighter. But a little nail polish actually helped a little bit. So as far as articulation, tons of articulation, the head and neck. Also the legs and front legs, you can go forward and back. There is a toe articulation on the front, as well as a swivel there. So you get a little bit of posability there. And on the back legs, they're also on a hinge, so they can go hinge out. Actually, these back legs will become the arms in robot mode, so they do have the shoulder hinge there. And they do also have a swivel at the knee there. And there's also a knee joint. There's a hinge joint there. And the toes are stable. You can't pose the toes, but you can on the front legs. So actually a lot of articulation in Dino Mode. Nothing at the tail, that's all static there. So anyways, for the Dino Mode, that is about it. Now there is weapon storage, and I will show off the gun he does come with. And this thing is just massive. This thing is so cool. Done in a black plastic with some beautiful gold paint over the top. But look at the detail on that. It's just really nice. You get a little screw hole there. Some nice molded detail there. You get a scope. And that gold paint against the black is just such a nice contrast. And much like we saw on Grimlock, there are 2 tabs right here and here. And if you go to the underside of Sludge, another kind of, there's a huge gap right here. So this kind of fills up the gap a little bit. But if you can see, there are 2 slots here and here. And the gun just slots. It does go a certain way, so you're going to have to put it in this way. But it does just slot in right there. And it does kind of fill up that gap. But I really don't think that could have been, avoided. But again, it's not like you're going to be looking at your figure from the underside. Anyways, so that is how Sludge looks with his gun in place. So it's kind of getting him back in his pose. And again, hold on. Let's get him posed here. And again, yeah, the fact that his has so much expression in the head, it's really, really cool. I really love all the articulation there. So anyways, let's get this guy transformed into robot mode, see how he looks. Okay, so you have leader class Dinobot Sludge all transformed into his robot mode. And let's take a look at his details. Let's just take his gun off. But he does hold his gun very nicely, and it's very tight, so that's very good. So let's take that off and get up close on that head sculpt. Now, I think this is actually the biggest head out of all the Dinobots. Slug and Grimlock. Grimlock kind of had a small head. Slug sort of had a medium-sized head, but this Sludge's head is just massive. So it's done in a black plastic with some nice silver paint for the crest, some silver paint for the face. And you can, if you look really closely, you can see the blue paint for the eyes. It's gets a little bit lost under there, but just a beautiful head sculpt, very Sludge, and it's just massive. It's a very big head sculpt. So you get the really nice Autobot logo there front and center. So going down the figure, again, just tons of detail, tons of molded detail. You get some nice red and black here, and you can see basically how he is transformed. And you see the arms there, the midsection, the legs, not a whole lot. You saw most of it in Dino Mode, but you get the really nice gold paint for his feet there. And that's how he looks on the back. That's how he looks on the back. Now, there's a couple different things you can do. Actually, this dino head is on a sort of clip joint, sort of hinge right here. So actually what happens is you can just slide this off. So if you kind of don't want the dino, this actually comes separately in the box. So if you don't want the dino head kind of hanging off the back, if you want sort of like a cleaner look on the back there, you can actually take this off. And let's just see, taking that off there, it does kind of clean it up just a little bit in robot mode. Not so much from the front, but definitely from like the side. You don't get as much as a backpack. So that is one option. So, and actually during transformation, sometimes this can come off as well. So basically what happens is this just clips on there like that. It just kind of slides in, and this is on a hinge right here. So actually, I kind of like it better off. It doesn't look as like a classic Sludge look, but let's just leave it off for now. But that's something you can do. Let's see. Before we get into articulation, just a couple sort of little bit of a not complaint, a little bit of a QC issue, I think, with this guy. Like I said, this guy is super, the joints right here in the feet are just super loose. And I don't know if it's just my copy, but we'll see more when I get into articulation. But I notice when I'm posing him, he tends to be a little bit floppy. Also, these wings back here, I kind of have an issue with. They do peg in right here. There's a peg hole right here that pegs into here. So this part pegs in. But while these are super just kind of flappy, kind of loose, they do get a little bit in the way. I kind of want to put them out, and they tend to just, they're kind of very loose on my figure. So that's kind of my only complaint. This, and also kind of the waist, the joints in the waist and things like that. The arms don't seem so bad. So let's just get into articulation. So his head is on a ball joint. It's on a 360. It is on a joint there, so you can kind of go up and down. Not much side to side. You got kind of up and down and side to side. Now, if you move these kind of out of the way, he does have a full 360 on the shoulder there. And he does have a shoulder hinge there. You can put his shoulder hinge out. He does have a upper bicep swivel. He has about 90 degree, a little bit more at the elbow. And his hands can rotate like so. So getting his arms out of the way. He does have a waist swivel, full 360 there. And what I was talking about is this joint right here. He does have, he can do the full splits. But again, if I hold him like this, see, that's what happens. He kind of flops over. So I don't know if it's just my copy, but it's a real pain in the butt when I'm transforming him, trying to get this kind of all tucked away behind here. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but he can do the full splits. He has an upper thigh swivel, and he has about a 90 degree at the feet. At the knee. And also his feet are a little bit floppy too, a little bit loose. He does have articulation there, but that's mostly for transformation. Again, that's really loose. And he does have the ankle pivot, a very nice, almost 45 degree angle there. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's just my copy, but yeah, he seems awfully loose. So like I was saying, let's bring in the other guys here. This guy seems loose, but like the other guy seems super tight, like Slug and Grimlock. Slug. Excusez-moi. They seem very tight. So let me just get this guy armed up here. It's a bit unfortunate. I kind of wish this guy was a little tighter, but I'll try and maybe tighten him up in the future. So let's bring in the other Dinobots. Let me just adjust my camera here, because these guys are big, and I love the fact that these guys are so big. So here we go. Here's Grimlock. Let's see if we can get him in the shot here. And here is Slug. And if you can see what I'm talking about, actually Slug's head is pretty big, but I feel like Sludge's head is actually pretty big too. So there is a shot of the three Dinobots. See if I can get them all in the frame here. And let me just adjust my camera up a little bit. So there they are. The three Dinobots. You got Grimlock, Sludge, and Slug. I want to call him Slag. I mean, his name is Slag. It's just, in British English, it means something else. So anyways, so that's how they look all together. So yeah, they scale beautifully together. But yeah, I think Sludge's head is definitely one of the biggest. And I actually like the way his head sculpt came out. Really nice. I love Slug's too. And Grimlock's is nice, of course. But yeah, Sludge is looking very cool. So taking these guys off. Again, yeah, my only real complaint with this guy is just the articulation. Not that, it's lack of, but just it seems a little bit floppy. Not as solid as the other guys. He's definitely got the high kicks, and he can kick, but look at that. That's just super. I mean, his feet is dangling down there. So again, I don't know if it's just my copy, but anyways, let's pause and I'll give you my final thoughts here. Okay, so final thoughts for Leader Class Studio Series 86 Dinobot Sludge. This is an awesome figure, amazing head sculpt, great articulation, very classic look to the character. Loving the blaster, the gun he comes with is just awesome, detailed, great paint job in Dino Mode, excellent. My only real complaint, again, boils down to QC. And I think this figure, like I said, is it my copy? Is it all copies? I'd be very curious to know. If you guys picked this figure up, please let me know in the comments below. Are you having problems with the loose joints? In Dino Mode, that neck part, does it come off when you try to pose the neck? Again, everything kind of boils down to the loose joints. And it's a little bit unfortunate because this figure is so great, and definitely happy to add him to the other Dinobots in my collection. And yeah, it's just very unfortunate that he's a bit of a floppy mess. But other than that, I can look past that. Definitely, easily, I can look past that because this guy, at the end of the day, is awesome, and I highly recommend this guy. So anyways, for Leader Class Dinobot Sludge Studio Series 86, this has been Matt in Japan. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day.